Coming up, a viral video that had just about every viewer laughing gets a novelty item. I'm warning you about what emoji is just so not cool anymore. Plus, is it time for the return of the dumb phone? I'm Taylor Michelle, and it's time for the Weekly Rundown. We have a guest. Hello. Time for the Weekly Rundown. So this week kicked off the start of Lent, where thousands of people have given up something or committed to something for the next 6 weeks. I, for instance, gave up sweets. Well, one man's seasonal sacrifice means swapping food for beer and raising money for charity in the process. Jeremy Roth has this and more.
An Ohio business owner is making it his business to replace food with beer. But it's not just great taste and less filling. His sudsy system is also fulfilling because he's doing it for a good cause. Ahead of Easter, many Christians celebrate Lent, a season of personal sacrifice. Brewery owner Del Hall is sacrificing food and switching to a liquid diet centered around 3 to 5 daily brewskis, along with coffee, tea, and water. Hey, in the words of Shakespeare, a quart of ale is a meal fit for a king. Or in the words of Homer Simpson,
beer.
This is Del's third Lenten season on the diet, and he claims it helps him shed 40 to 50 pounds and lowers his cholesterol and blood pressure. He also uses his annual claim to fame to raise money for local service industry workers. Last year, he raised more than $10,000 in donations, and this year he's shooting for $50K. So cheers to Del and another season of frothy philanthropy.
At first, my head was really turned sideways for this one, but once the charity part kicked in, well, that's pretty neat. Best to him and everyone else on their journey. Now, a couple of weeks ago, this video was seen on just about every platform you can think of.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Well, like all things that break the interwebs, there is now a bobblehead mimicking this moment. Two, actually. The National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum released these two novelties. Each are a little computer with the cat on the screen, and the cat's head swings back and forth. What a creation. For those of you who may not know the full story, a Texas lawyer got stuck in this cat filter during a virtual hearing.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Getting a new pup or any pet, except a snake, is something that can fill us all with excitement. And the excitement for a child is a special one. Well, a 7-year-old from South Dakota loves watching the Iditarod Trail sled dog races and has dreams of having a sled dog. You know where this is going. Jody Kurzman has more.
This is a moment Sloan Penfield has been dreaming about for most of her young life.
There's this movie that I watched when I was little called 8 Below, and I just heard about it and I just fell in love with it.
Sloan had been trying to fill 6 2-liter bottles with dimes. Someone told her that would be enough money to buy her own husky.
I got one that's like up to here.
But before she could fill all those bottles, her dream came true. In November, her parents surprised her with a trip to Montana to get her very own sled dog.
Did a little sled ride together, and then we came back to the barn, and I asked her if she liked Harley quite a bit, and she said she did, and she loved him. And then we said, well, he's yours if you want him. And she didn't know what to do.
I was so surprised.
Harley raced in the Iditarod. He's retired now, and his owners were searching for a forever home for Harley. Sloan was the perfect match.
She reads him books and grooms him, gives him baths.
There hasn't been enough snow this winter for Sloan and Harley to practice mushing, so the dynamic duo has found a compromise. Sloan has hooked Harley to her bike. Now Sloan is busy planning for Harley's birthday. He'll be 11 this month.
I'll probably get him a toy.
Sloane's mom sends photos and videos to Brett and his wife so they can keep tabs on Harley and Sloane. Brett says he's happy to see his best friend find a new best friend.
It's pretty much perfect that he's with her.
Sloane couldn't agree more. These mushing mates plan to keep going and going and going long after this year's Iditarod race is finished.
Sloane has started baking homemade doggy treats for Harley. She donated 4 dozen treats and 2 copies of the Skinny Leg book to a benefit auction for a classmate who has leukemia, and she's raised more than $300. Well, such a passionate little girl. This year's Iditarod begins March 6th. Now, winter storms have been devastating to several parts of the country throughout this past week. Thankfully, things are finally looking up, but my thoughts and prayers do go out to everyone who's been affected. But to pull out a silver lining, several people were able to enjoy the snow, with some even using it for a good cause. Police officers in Montana ran outside in the snow in short sleeves and many in shorts. The high temperature that day was just 8 degrees. After a run in the snow, they laid down and made snow angels. It was all to raise money for the Special Olympics. In Portland, snowfall created the perfect conditions for skiing, so locals strapped up into their gear and took off for a little fun on city streets for an impromptu ski race.
We're just trying to have some fun and enjoy winter, like when it happens.
Pets, kiddos, and a Portland pickle all joined in on the fun.
Pickles joined us. So I did not expect pickles today, but when in Portland, you never know what you're going to see.
Talk about keeping it weird, Portland. Now, maybe not everyone in the Coachella Valley can relate to that, but we can relate to some good old golf, right? These golfers in New York proved just because Jack Frost was nipping at their nose didn't mean they had to put their clubs away.
Oh, yeah, baby.
On a snowy 18-degree night, they trudged out onto the 8th hole, dug out a spot in the snow to set up their tee shots, used glow-in-the-dark golf balls to mash absolute lasers down the fairway. They even wore hockey jerseys to complete the look. The guys say their next goal is to play 9 holes in the snow at night. I'll stick to the lights at Indio for my night rounds.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Now, before I drop the snow talk, they say you start living your best life in your 20s. Waiting. Blizzard the polar bear is making it happen. The 25-year-old recently had the best snow day ever. Blizzard lives at a zoo in Tacoma, Washington. The senior bear, well, look at him making the most of his wild and roaring 20s. It's time to talk tech. Apple's mixing it up with its latest batch of new emojis. Clapping emoji for me. The tech company recently updated its operating system. That update brought on a slew of new icons. The new emojis include a face with spiral eyes, a face hiding in the clouds, and different genders with beards. For those in love, there's also a new heart on fire emoji. Oh, that should have been in time for Valentine's Day. And those out of love can use the mending heart emoji. I'll use that one. According to Emojipedia, more than 200 emojis are slated to be released this year. But listen up, people. Apparently, the laughing crying emoji is so last year. At least according to Gen Zers, of course. Many young men and women who were born after 1996 say they've stopped using that graphic because they've deemed it uncool. Some say the fact that their parents used the emoji made them choose other ways of saying, "I'm laughing so hard, I'm crying." One such new emoji used by the younger population is a skull, as in, "I'm dying of laughter." Okay, I actually used that one. The laughing crying emoji was among many victims blasted during a set of recent videos and comments on TikTok that focused on Hallmark items millennials dislike. Generation Z also threw shade on skinny jeans and hair parted on the side. Well, whatever, Gen Z. Whatever. Another thing you can do on your phone is see just how much you're actually on it. And I will tell you firsthand, at least for me, it's terrible. But would you give up your smartphone and go back to your dumb phone?
About a year ago, Los Angeles motion graphic designer Fred Sprinkle had a wake-up call.
My phone
usage was cutting into both my creativity and family time.
So he made a drastic move, ditching his smartphone.
The first thing I noticed was almost a reduction in anxiety.
But he's not totally off the grid. Now he uses the $350 Light Phone 2, a credit card-sized minimalist phone with limited features.
Your utilities, you could see the phone, alarm, calculator, a simple music player, podcast tool.
Joe Hollier and Kai Tang came up with the Light Phone concept about 7 years ago.
We want to create a device that empowers people, not the other way around.
And have seen recent growth in sales, even as the pandemic's increased screen time for the average American.
The phone is intended to be invisible, not something that you're constantly checking.
While some Light Phone users make the full leap, about half make it their secondary phone. So they use their smartphone when they need it, and then simply slide the SIM card over to the Light Phone when they want to take a break. Some also use vintage or prepaid phones, but dumb phones aren't for everyone.
It's too much of a challenge, too much of an obstacle. That's dinosaurs, you know?
Others are more receptive.
And I don't want to be weighed down by mindless chatter.
I don't need all these apps.
Fred Sprinkle says since he went light 3 months ago, he feels happier, more focused, and more connected with his family.
Because a lot of times in life, really, the answer that we're really looking for, we can't just Google.
A growing market for simplicity. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
There are 2 Light phones available, the Light phone that only calls and texts, and the Light phone with a couple added features such as an alarm. I have an iPhone. Let's look at my screen time. Okay, so far today, I've been on my phone 2 hours and 29 minutes. An hour and 45 minutes of that is social media, and my most used app is TikTok. I am so guilty. If you have an Android, you can also look, and it's the feature called Digital Well-Being. Coming up next, one of the biggest country music stars is getting even more attention for not wanting attention. Plus, one celeb is hoping her new tequila brand will be the new top shelf used in your margaritas. This and more after the break. Welcome back to Weekly Rundown. Kendall Jenner is launching a new brand of tequila. The 25-year-old model announced her 818 tequila on Instagram, of course. Jenner says it's been 4 years in the making. 818 seems to be named after Jenner's hometown area code and comes in Blanco, Añejo, and Reposado. She says the drink has already won several awards after being anonymously entered into competitions. I'll have to test that myself and be the real judge on that. Now, Dolly Parton says thanks, but no thanks to the idea of having an official Dolly statue erected in her honor. Her response left fans even more smitten. Jeannie Most has more on this say what moment.
Dolly Parton may be the type to, but she is not ready to stand there and be a statue. The Tennessee legislature was to consider a bill to erect a Dolly statue at the state capitol, funded by donations. Young Dolly? Older Dolly? It didn't get that far because Dolly nixed the idea. "I am honored and humbled," she tweeted, "but given all that is going on in the world, I don't think putting me on a pedestal is appropriate at this time," which made her fans put her on an even higher pedestal. Dolly Parton proving she deserves the statue she doesn't want. This makes me want to put a Dolly Parton statue in my front yard. For this act of humility, we must make the Dolly Parton statue 5 times as tall. She's already turned down the Presidential Medal of Freedom twice when the Trump administration offered it because her husband was ill and she didn't want to travel during COVID. And before that,
how does Dolly Parton not have a Presidential Medal of Freedom?
That's a mistake. I assumed that she had already got one.
I assume
I'm surprised she deserves one.
I'll call Biden.
But she's afraid to say yes to President Biden.
Now I feel like if I take it, I'll be doing politics, so I'm not sure.
She already has a bronze statue not far from her Dollywood theme park. Dolly posed barefoot for the sculptor. It debuted in 1987. Now tourists pose in front of young Dolly. She hasn't completely buried the idea of an official statue. Perhaps after I'm gone, if you feel I deserve it, then I'm certain I will stand proud in our great state capital as a grateful Tennessean.
Bury me beneath the willow.
Maybe then they'll resurrect the Dolly statue idea. Chinimos.
Perhaps he'll weep for me. So I better hush before you cry yourself to death and we can't finish the show.
Honestly, respect to her. Dolly is spreading so many positive vibes with that, but a man right here at home is also making a positive impact one day at a time, and you'll be meeting him after the break. I'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Weekly Rundown. Julio Vargas is a local man who helps farm workers with PPE and food. And this week, his kindness was honored by Toyota and Honda of the Desert. Here's more with Thalia Hayden.
All right, we're about to do our surprise right now. Here we go. Julio? Hi, I'm Thalia with NBC Palm Springs. You are our essential worker of the week. Have you heard?
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I had no idea. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you. It's, there's a lot of essential workers that are out there working, like farm workers who are out there risking their lives to support us, and to be considered this is a great honor. And yeah, this is really all we do for them, and all the work that we've been doing with the Dr. Carrion Foundation and ECV for Change and our students. This is really for them, so thank you so much.
Well, we've heard about all that you do for farm workers, that you help with PPE, getting food, helping younger people who want to do something with their lives, start their career. So that is why Honda and Toyota of the Desert are giving you $1,000 today.
Julio, thank you for all you do. It is a pleasure to give you this check today. Hope you go out and enjoy this money.
Julio, a true hero in our community with just amazing volunteer work with the farm workers, with their kids, and amazing hearing about the scholarship program. Just thanks for all you're doing. One of our true Valley heroes through this pandemic and even beyond that. So thank you very much.
I just want to say thank you so much. This is definitely continue our work and motivate us to continue doing this work to help out the Coachella Valley.
Like always, thank you to all of our essential workers near and far. After the break, we're taking a trip to DAP Health to focus on something important right here in our community. Weekly Rundown, we'll be right back. We like to focus on community here on Weekly Rundown, and so does DAP Health. Joining me is CJ Toby, Director of Community Health for DAP, because we have something very important to talk about today, right, CJ?
I do. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. So today we're talking about STI testing. What exactly is that?
So STI stands for sexually transmitted infections, which a lot of people know as STDs. It could be chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, HPV, etc.
Yeah. And why is it important to get tested, especially right now?
Well, especially right now, during this pandemic, people are still having sex, and we're seeing STI rates continue to increase in the Coachella Valley, along with HIV rates as well.
Right, and so DAP is making it a little easier. Who can come here? Walk us through that process. Who, what, when, where, when?
So that's a great question. First of all, anybody can come in here. It doesn't matter if you're a male, female, a trans individual. It doesn't matter if you have insurance or not. It doesn't matter if you come here on a bus. It does not matter. You can come here from Mexico even. Does not matter. We will see you. You come into our clinic and we will test you for STIs.
And what age ranges come in here?
So really, anybody over the age of 18 can come here. If you are under the age of 18 and you need to be connected elsewhere for medical care or any kind of social support services, we are happy to connect you.
And one of the most commonly asked questions is, how much does it cost?
So the cost here is $25 for HIV, hepatitis C, gonorrhea, syphilis, and chlamydia. It's $25 for all those tests.
Awesome. And we can't stress enough how easy it is. Tell us about how easy it is to come get your test done right here at DAP Health.
So access is key here at DAP Health. And so it's so easy to come here and get STI tested. And we're going to show you exactly how easy it is with Tommy Rose's experience coming into our sexual health clinic and getting tested for STIs.
Let's check it out.
Hello. Oh, time for my appointment for a comprehensive STI screening at DAP. Be right back. 3-site testing for gonorrhea and chlamydia means mouth, penis, and butt. Here we go. Glad I called ahead for an appointment this time, but they do take walk-ins as well. Well, hello there, good looking. Okay, time to play 20 questions. Who do you have sex with? Men, women, or both? Just depends on my luck and the time of night, I guess. Repeat visitor? Good for you. And look at you. Estás muy bien, guapo. Let's get this show started with a rapid HIV test. Whew, just a little prick. So typical. Reminds me of my first husband. And now I'm off to pee in a cup. Honey, I had a big gulp on the way over here. I think I'm gonna need a bigger cup. Throat swab? No problem, honey. 3-site testing for gonorrhea and chlamydia covers all your bases. Penis or vagina, butt, and throat. One last blood test for syphilis. 3-site testing is important for anyone having sex, but particularly gay or bisexual men who have sex with other men. All clear? Woo! Start your engines, boys. Mama's coming. And I'm done. See y'all in another 3 months. Now that I have the all clear, it's time to get this party started. STI testing and treatment at the doc is quick, confidential, and costs a mere $25 per visit. Book your appointment today.
So there you have it. That video shows you just how easy it is to come here and get tested. Thank you so much for joining me today, CJ.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back. I will see you all next week at 6:30 right here on NBC Palm Springs. But in the meantime, you can chat with me on Instagram or share stories with me at NBC Weekly. Have a great week, everyone.